On the news tonight, Senate Committee on Capital Markets engages stakeholders on improving export products. CNG Solutions holds meeting with entrepreneurs. Plus, Jigawa State House of Assembly constitutes ad hoc committee to review local government electoral laws. Good evening and welcome to NTA Parliamentary News. I am Vivian Idekbefo. The Senate Committee on Capital Markets has engaged stakeholders towards boosting the export of agricultural products. The meeting, attended by the Minister of State for Agriculture and Food Security, Sabi Abdullahi, dwelt on leveraging Nigeria's agro-potentials to increase revenue through exports of raw material.
What we're doing right now is to find ways to further improve on our capacity to produce. So we are amping up dry season farming. We are also providing more support to farmers now so that more farmers will be incentivized to go back to land. And we are also looking at the possibility of many of our institutions that have land, which they can also bring into production. So these and many more are the things we are doing. And of course, the President is also upbeat about our low mechanization. And so we're having programs to deal with increasing our mechanization.
Chairman of the Senate Committee on Capital Market, Senator Osita Izunaso, says Nigeria's commodity exchange market should be critically assessed for standardization.
All the export commodities in Nigeria should pass through the commodity exchange as a way of getting revenue for the country. And why are we doing more of importing finished products and also exporting finished products? We should be able to deal with the issues of exporting the finished product instead of exporting our raw material. Even in crude, we export crude only for us to bring it back into the country as a finished product. That should stop.
The issues that have to do with the legal framework was discussed extensively, and how to make amendments to legal framework to forestall leakages in Nigeria's revenue space, and also the issue that has to do with exports. How do we ramp up exports? How do we create an enabling environment for ease of doing business in the agri space?
The Benue State Association of Legislative Aids Forum is pledging support and commitment to the legislative agenda of the 10th National Assembly and the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu for a better Nigeria. The association throws its weight behind the mandate at a maiden press conference of the forum at the National Assembly. Issa Mohammed has more.
The Benue State National Assembly Legislative Aids Forum is a non-partisan and non-religious association of legislative aides from Benue State extraction working at the National Assembly. The maiden press conference of the forum focuses on supporting their principals in achieving the set goals of the legislators' agenda, side by side the 8-point agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration for development to thrive.
We particularly align ourselves with the legislative agenda of the leadership of the 10th National Assembly, which encompasses a range of 8 critical issues designed to provide the necessary legislative support to the 8-point agenda of the executive. These issues include strengthening good governance, economic development, improving national security, economic growth and development, law reforms, social sector reforms and development, inclusion and open parliament, influencing foreign policy and climate change and environmental sustainability.
The chairman who anchors the program uses the medium to express solidarity with distinguished sons and daughters of Benue origin, serving the nation in different capacities. Reacting to the perilous security challenges in Benue states, the association condemns attacks on innocent citizens of the states. The association, however, commends the efforts of both federal and state governments in calming the situation for peace, unity, and development of the states.
I also want to use this opportunity to sympathize with Benue citizens that have been affected by perilous security challenge faced by our country and our dear state. For the sake of our beautiful state, All parties should embrace peace and unity in order to attract more development in the state.
The association appeals to all parties to embrace harmony and dialogue in resolving disputes. Members also assure the newly inaugurated executive officers of the national body of the association of support to the leadership for attaining greater feats for the overall benefits of Benue legislative aids of the 10th National Assembly. From the National Assembly, Issa Muhammad, NTA News.
And from Jigawa State comes the report that the State House of Assembly has constituted an ad hoc committee that will review and harmonize the state's electoral laws to be in conformity with the local government electoral laws of the National Assembly. Ibrahim Sani reports that this came to the fore shortly after the Inter-Party Advisory Council visited the State Assembly requesting for additional time before conducting the next local government elections in the state.
Pursuant to Section 103, Subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, empowers the State House of Assembly to establish committees to assist the legislative arm of government in carrying out its functions. In line with these provisions and the House Standard Rules, the House Committee on Local Government, while presenting its report on a communique of the Inter-Party Advisory Council on matters around local government elections in Jigawa State, recommended for political parties in the state to be allowed to prepare adequately as requested before the next local government elections.
This Honorable House should consider the concern raised by the Inter-Party Advisory Council and initiate processes to review the laws established in the Commission.
This election had its own conformity of law. So it is good to look what they have bring to us. If you evaluate what they have said, and the government conduct an election on local government, may eventually suit the government, and it will later be annul the election.
After careful observations of the recommendations, the House, led by Speaker Haruna Ali Dangyatun, constituted an ad hoc committee to look into ways of harmonizing state laws to be in conformity with the local government electoral laws of the National Assembly. In a related development, the House Committee on Emergency Management presented its report following an oversight visit to Hadeja, Gumel, Ringim, and Brunun Kudu Sema stores, as well as the head office of the State Emergency Management in Duse, with a view to ascertaining the condition of the stores.
At Ringim store, the committee observed that the store needs general renovation. Observation. At Hadeja, there is no firefighting facilities in the store.
I think what fire science is needed is not only encouragement for all the relationship with SEMA. That agency needs total rehabilitation.
The report of the committee have been unanimously adopted and approved. In Duse, Ibrahim Sani, NTA News.
From northwest Nigeria, we go to Sokoto State House of Assembly, which has adopted a motion calling on the state government to convert the Sultan Machido Wakaf Center in the metropolis to an educational and skills acquisition center. This came to the fore after the motion moved by Abubakar Shehu Yabo, member representing Yabo State constituency. Nuruddin Abdullahi Adili has the report.
The importance of education and skill acquisition in any society cannot be overemphasized as a catalyst for development, generates employment opportunities, and contribute to boost economic activities within the country. Skill acquisition is also a tool for eradicating poverty, hunger, wealth creation for self-reliance. Worried by the spate of insecurity and manner in which internally displaced persons roam the streets in the metropolis, begging without access to basic amenities, as well as Islamic and Western education, a member representing Yabo constituency, Abubakar Shehu Yabo, presented a motion calling on the state government to convert Sultan Machido Wakaf Center to education and skill acquisition center for the children and widows displaced by banditry to make them productive. Yabo also praised that if converted, the major source of funding the center come from the state government, Zakat and Waqf Commission, international donors like African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and some international charity foundations donation as well as donation from well-to-do individuals within and outside the country.
Underage children roaming about in the town at midnight. Some of them are orphans, some of them they are IDPs. That's what drew my attention to call on the state government to convert the Sultan Machudu Work-up Center to a educational center.
In support of the motion, member representing Gorabawa North, Muhammad Bello Idris, called on the state government to make comprehensive census of the displaced persons to assist in carrying all the displaced people along.
And additionally, a new prayer, which was presented by myself, has also been agreed by the members to call on the state government to conduct a thorough research and comprehensive census of these vulnerable groups in order to properly rehabilitate them at that center.
Many members made their contribution in support of the motion.
Less individuals to give their own contribution in support of this displaced person.
The Speaker, Tukurubala Bodinga, announced the House unanimous resolve to call on the state government to look at the possibility of converting the Work-up Center to Educational and Skills Acquisition Center within the shorted period of time. From the Sokoto State House of Assembly, Nuruddin Abdullahi Adili, NTA News.
Time now to pause for some messages. The news continues.
Are you looking for a short channel to make your business, goods and services go viral? Look no further, as NTA Parliament is your short channel. Take advantage of our wider reach and advertise your products and services on NTA Parliament DSTV channel 370, GoTV channel 126, StarTimes channel 306, and Free TV channel 706. For more inquiries, contact the Marketing Department, NTA Parliament, NTA Headquarters Area 11 Garki Abuja, or call these numbers 080-383-40464 or 080-770-78055. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
You're watching Parliamentary News reaching you from Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. You can follow the platforms on the screen for more updates. The National Assembly Budget and Research Office is set to come on board as the bill passes second reading at the National Assembly. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports on its merit.
An initiative of the legislature to support its work in engagements with stakeholders on national budgets, the National Assembly Budget and Research Office is basically for analysis and monitoring of the budgets.
As it stands, there is no organic law that gives powers to any office to independently provide assistance to the National Assembly in relation to budgetary and financial matters. The National Assembly currently operates in a manner in which legislation is made and decisions are taken without relevant consideration of their financial and economic impacts.
The financial implication of the budget on the private sector is also a key mandate of the office when it comes on board.
It will guide our line of discussion as to how best we can address the present economic realities confronting us as a nation.
I believe strongly an institution of this nature will help almost all of us here with the powers of appropriation that we have.
The National Assembly, in exercising that onerous power, needs to do so from a position of strength, a position of knowledge.
Some lawmakers, however, expressed reservations in view of the number of existing agencies of government.
Regardless of what anybody will say, for us to rise from these chambers to say that we have created another new institution, I think on the face of it, we will be seen as expanding where the executive is reducing.
The Senate is set to invite other stakeholders to a public hearing to receive inputs on the proposed legislation. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
With me in the studio to talk more on the establishment of a budgetary office at the National Assembly is the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, Awal Musa Rafsanjani. You're welcome to NTA Parliamentary News.
Thank you very much.
Now, the National Assembly is set to have a budgetary office and research office. What would you say is the rationale behind this move?
Thank you very much. Civil society in Nigeria working on legislative processes, particularly CISLAC, as early as 2001. And we began to work with the civil society and also particularly National Assembly members to support them to come up with a framework that will give them the opportunity to do justice to the budget review submitted by the government. And we held series of retreat, workshop with the National Assembly members, and we came up with some suggestion for the National Assembly to come up with what we call NIBRO, National Assembly Budget and Research Office, to be able to help review the executive budget submission to ensure realistic, objectively defensible input for Nigerian economic development and nation building. Secondly, we also suggested that this office should provide technical assistance and briefing to relevant committees to understand and appraise budget content. Equally important, we suggested that this budget office should ensure that key national budget priorities are actually given priorities during the budget deliberation and carefully assess and support by relevant data, so that you will not have so much duplication, so much waste as it were. We equally suggested that this office should help to provide analytical support for more streamlined review and consideration of the Nigerian annual budget and supplementary appropriation. These are some of the key things that we thought the office should do when it is created, in addition to, of course, ensuring that monitoring and determination that the budget as implemented adhere to legislative consideration or approval, to also provide basis for oversight by the National Assembly and support relevant committees in carrying out the oversight on the implementation of budget. And more importantly, again, to ensure that this office review and reconcile current year budget performance in the light of prior or previous years that has been presented. That was what we have recommended and suggested for the establishment of the National Assembly Budget and Research Office, given the lacuna and the gaps that we have noted in the National Assembly members. This is because some of the National Assembly members are actually new. They did not actually have prior engagement in the budget issue. Some of the people within the executive have 25 years, 30 years experience in budget preparation and budgetary allocation. Members of the National Assembly, many of them were new. Many of them had no any experience in dealing with very delicate, very technical issue around budgetary issues. So we thought having a neutral, non-partisan office that can help them, provide them with credible data and information to be able to checkmate and analyze whatever the executive submission on the budget will be helpful for the nation.
So now you have mentioned the word duplication a couple of times, and we do know that there is an office, or an office within the National Assembly that handles budgetary issues. So the coming on stream of this budget and research office, wouldn't that be a duplication of duties?
No, it will only help to give professional and technical, support to the National Assembly, because, like I mentioned, some of the members did not actually have the required, analytical skill to be able to analyze and be able to checkmate what the executive submits. So therefore, having an independent, impartial, competent office, that will be helpful for even the National Assembly itself. Because if you don't have people with skill and expertise to be able to review the budget and even the performance of the budget as what we have been seeing, it will definitely have shortcoming. So therefore, what this office will do is to really reimpose and strengthen the capacity and the ability of the National Assembly to decisively look at budgets submitted by the executive, to also analyze it, and to also look at the performance of the previous years. This is going to happen if there's no interference, if there is no manipulation and control from anybody. But if you allow the office and even the appointment of its staff, it should not be just giving job to anybody for political consideration. It is going to be based on technical expertise, based on capacity, based not on the basis of loyalty or based on the basis of political affiliation. No, it is purely going to be people with capacity, with the skill, with experience, with technical know-how on budget matters.
The National Assembly has always had the oversight on the executive arm of government, and there have been calls by the civil society, especially, which is your constituency, for an openness. Would the coming on stream of this budget and research office make the National Assembly open?
Nigeria is committed to implementing, open government partnership. Nigeria is signatory to various protocols and conventions that seeks to have more openness, more transparency in, governance, and therefore it will be a self-indictment if the National Assembly will not want to, for example, its budget and its implementation and expenditure known to the public, because they will have lost moral superiority to do oversight or to expose other agencies that have failed to be able to be open, to be transparent in its dealings. So therefore, it is absolutely necessary for the National Assembly to show this support of openness, to make its budget known, at least even to its members, because many of the members, except the principal officers, may not be able to tell you exactly what the National Assembly is doing, how it's doing with its own budget implementation.
We are grateful that you have shared your thoughts with us, and we know this conversation is one that will keep coming up, so we hope that you make out time to come be on our set again as we call you to shed more light and share your views concerning the workings of the National Assembly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on the news with us this evening. Key players are saying more than $2.5 billion will be saved if the adoption of compressed natural gas can be accelerated to shape the future of CNG sector in Nigeria and the international community. The Made in CNG Hackathon Summit 2024 served as a forum for the Presidential CNG Initiative and partners in the industry to synergize in generating innovative solutions that address challenges hampering the growth of CNG adoption in Nigeria. Let's join Joshua Ogunjide for details.
Sequel to the removal of the PMS subsidy and the full deregulation of the petroleum products market, the price of PMS has increased significantly. As such, exigency to consider alternative sources of fuel, primarily CNG and EV, for vehicle surfaces. The CNG Solutions Hackathon 2024 brings together a diverse array of participants, including tech enthusiasts, developers, designers, business professionals, and innovators.
We have an opportunity to save about $2.5 billion every year. A million vehicles represent about less than 10% of the national fleet, but for every 1.03 liter of petrol you use, you are using equivalent 1.1 SCM of gas. So if you do the conversion at 1 million vehicles, which is about 10% of the almost 60 million liters we use today, that's 6 million liters. So 6 million liters a day, that's what we're talking about. That's significant. That will be a savings of about $2.5 billion.
We see about 9 businesses looking at things from infrastructure to location services to conversion services to fintech, credit system type of services, insurance and co. Hopefully, these businesses can also stimulate a new market around the digital market spaces to get more customers for the CNG program in Nigeria.
Going forward, motorists must therefore embrace conversion to CNG-powered vehicles as the sector possesses the potential of diplomacy when government builds a strong base for the sector.
There's no weld on those CNG cylinders, which is different from LPG cylinders. So, and it's stored in a way that it can never explode. And even if you have an opportunity for the gas to escape that bulletproof cylinder, it dissipates because it's much, much lighter than air. So CNG is much more safer than petrol, much more safer than diesel, because petrol, as you know, when you see petrol accidents, petroleum cars actually have accidents, they explode.
The presidential CNG initiative, PyCNG, is a component of the palliative intervention of the Bola Tinubu administration aimed at providing succor to the masses occasioned by the transitive hardships of the fuel subsidy removal policy of the federal government. In Abuja, Joshua Ogwuchde, NTA News.
And from the Niger Delta comes a report from Bayelsa State that the State House of Assembly has screened and confirmed a list of 13 nominees as commissioner designates out of the 14 names sent to the House by the governor. Speaker of the House, Abraham Ngobere, advised the commissioner designates to serve the state with integrity and commitment in line with the prosperity mandate of the state government.
The Speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Abraham Ngobere, had announced receipt the list of 14 commissioner nominees from Governor Doye for screening and confirmation. All the nominees were screened and confirmed except for the former Commissioner for Youth and Sport Development, Daniel Igali, who did not show up. During the exercise, which lasted for about 3 hours, the nominees were asked various questions that bordered on professional competence, experience, and capacity to serve the state.
By the grace of God, I am posted to Ministry of Works and Infrastructure. I expect Bayelsas to see a better, more stable way in terms of infrastructural development.
The only thing that a seasoned politician, I'm to work with the people, work with the government, and ensure that government policies are carried out.
In his remarks, Speaker of the House, Abraham Ngobere, said the screening was in compliance with the relevant section of the law establishing the legislature as enshrined in the Constitution. He urged the commissioner-designate to use their good offices and the relationship with the governor for the betterment of the state. The Speaker also called on the commissioner-designate to strengthen the existing relationship between the executive and the legislative arms of government.
Expressing the governor of Nigeria State, and the nomination had to go with the confirmation of this house. So it's our constitutional duty we are here to be screened and confirmed whether we are fit to go with this excellency the governor of Nigeria State.
It is now the prerogative of Governor Doye to appoint the commissioner-designate and assign portfolio to manage the state. From the Bayelsa State House of Assembly, Baratwaipre Awi, NTA News.
And that's the size of our bulletin for this evening. For more updates, follow NTA Parliament on the platform scrolling on your screen. Thanks for staying with us. Once again, I am Vivian Idekbefo. Bye for now.